quarterback Matt Schaub and the Houston offense are off to a strong start this season, but today is a major test. Saints defensive coordinator Greg Williams brings as aggressive a defense as Schaub will see all season. It's the Saints and the Texans, and the kickoff.
Following presentation of the National Football League.
That dramatic night 5 years ago when the Louisiana Superdome reopened after Hurricane Katrina, and just a few moments ago for the coin toss, a young man who played a role in that game, right in the middle there, Steve Gleason, a former Saint who has disclosed just recently that he is suffering from Lou Gehrig's disease, serving as an honorary captain here today. The Houston Texans have won the toss, and they will receive. That's Daniel Manning. Deep in the end zone. The Saints 1-1. The Houston Texans 2-0. Manning, fourth best in the NFL 2 weeks into the season with a 41-yard average on kick returns. And we are underway. Manning will run this one out about 5 yards deep from the end zone and not make it back to the 15-yard line. Martez Wilson, the rookie out of Illinois, makes the stop. Houston quarterback Matt Schaub, the author of back-to-back 4,000-yard passing seasons, 3 touchdown passes, 2 interceptions 2 weeks into this season. This 71.7 completion percentage is the best in the National Football League.
Well, along with Drew Brees, we have 2 of the most exciting quarterbacks in the game today under the same roof.
The Texans from their own 13 and movement up front.
What a way to get started for the Texans. Dwayne Brown with a false start.
Offense, number 76. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Tony Correnti is our referee today.
Well, 2 negative plays for the Texan right off the bat. Manning doesn't get it back out to the 20 on a kickoff return, and on their first offensive play, a false start. Way to play to the crowd.
First and 15. Schaub rolling, running out of time, and threw it out of bounds. Up front for the Texans, 8-year guard Wade Smith, the oldest member of a line that'll be tested by an aggressive Saints defense. With Foster and Ward sideline, Ben Tate starts at running back. 100 yards rushing today will make him the second ever rush for 100 yards in each of his first 3 career NFL games. Cadillac Williams, the only other back. Second and 15. This is Tate. To about the 9. The New Orleans defense gets Will Smith and his 55 career sacks back at defensive end after a season-opening 2-game suspension. The Saints are minus middle linebacker Jonathan Bilmer today. He's out with a bad knee. Fourth-year backer Joan Dunbar steps in. And Tracy Porter is out for today's game. Second-year cornerback Patrick Robinson starts at cornerback for Greg Williams' defense.
And he loves this. A 3rd and 14 on the Texans' first possession inside their own 10.
Quick toss to the far side. Out over the 15, the 20, and close to a first down. Andre Johnson, he appears to have a first down.
Well, we always talk about running backs and how they finish a run. How about a wide receiver who looked like Jim Brown at the end of that completion? What a job by Andre Johnson. Look at the covey of blockers out in front. That really took the Saints by surprise, but he goes right over Malcolm Jenkins. Here comes Jenkins, number 27, and he gets repelled by Andre Johnson. Great conversion.
Big first down. Schaub, straight drop. With time, throwing this Johnson, and Johnson is out of bounds in New Orleans territory at about the 45-yard line.
Well, Andre Johnson, who gets double and triple covered almost every snap, hasn't found himself this wide open in a long, long time. He's going on a crossing pattern, and look at that. How do you lose track of number 80? And the Saints didn't do anything all week long that didn't involve smothering number 80, and they leave Andre Johnson wide open.
That's a 32-yard pickup and a first down just inside the Saints' 45. Schaub over the middle, got his man to about the 31. That's complete to the tight end, Owen Daniels. And another first down.
Well, and what a change of events here for Houston, who was facing a 3rd and 14. And look at Owen Daniels again working against this zone of the Saints. You look at this. He's going to come across, finds a little hole, and before Jenkins can come up and make the hit, Schaub delivers.
Steve Slayton is in the Houston backfield. And this is Slayton trying the right side, turning the corner inside the 30 to about the 27 or the 26-yard line.
Well, right now these fans have quieted down because of that guy's defense, Greg Williams. Remember, they got knocked out of the playoffs last year with an ugly performance against Seattle. They then gave up over 40 points to the Packers on opening night. Now they rebounded last week with a really good game against the Chicago Bears, knocking Jay Cutler around. But again, there are still question marks about this defense, and this is not a real solid start to the game for them.
2nd and 5. 7th play of this drive, which starting at the 13. And we get a whistle.
There is no play with the game clock operator. Please reset the game clock.
So while we get that straight, and Matt Schaub told us yesterday, Dan, that he went to practice every day this week thinking about the kind of defenses that Greg Williams was going to send after him.
Well, Greg Williams is as aggressive, if not more so, than just about anybody. You know, he's a Rex Ryan kind of guy that he runs different types of blitzes. He doesn't do the overloads the way the Jets do, but he comes from all different directions, loves to come up in the middle, loves to come with DBs. I mean, a good indication of that is one of his safeties. Roman Harper already has 2.5 sacks on the season.
There you see Matt Schaub as he clips David Carr. Most completions in the short Houston Texans history. 2nd and 5. Tate in the lineup behind Schaub, gets the handoff. Has an opening inside the 20 to the 15-yard line. And another first down. These Houston Texans have scored on 9 of their 12 first drives this year.
Well, this is an outstanding run-blocking offensive line. And right in there behind Eric Winston, you can see Brizell, Myers. These guys are really solid up front running the football. And the one thing about it is that in this zone blocking scheme, you need a one-cut back. Ben Tate fills the mold just like Arian Foster or Derek Ward.
On first down, this is Tate. And this time, Tate will be stacked up after a gain of about a yard. New Orleans, one of the things they need to correct early on, that red zone defense, opponents with 5 trips into the red zone and coming away with 5 touchdowns.
Yes, that won't work. And already, and there is Arian Foster. There in the, nice of him to wear his number, but again, he is so frustrated with his hamstring. Injured at the beginning of training camp, retweaked it in a preseason game, tightened up on him again last week in the Miami game.
3 tight ends, Schaub to throw. Over the middle, inside the 5 to the end zone, touchdown, Owen Daniels.
Well, this is got to be just crushing for this Saints defense that had the Texans pinned back inside their own 10-yard line with a 3rd and 14, and it ends up being a methodical touchdown drive. Good runs and open receivers, and Owen Daniels again gets his 2nd touchdown of the season as the Saints secondary, that time Roman Harper, just slow to cover.
The Texans go 87 yards in 9 plays with the opening kickoff.
That's an "are you kidding me" look by Sean Payton.
Extra point is good. The Houston Texans come out and make a statement about as well as you can do it here in New Orleans. Schaub to Daniels. 7-0. Houston. Yesterday, Dan, the first thing you said to him is how nice is it to be healthy, and he just smiled, and he's bringing smiles to the Texans and their fans too.
Well, he really struggled last year. He missed 5 games with a hamstring problem, and again, that's what Arian Foster is dealing with now. It can just nag you all season long if you don't get it put to bed early.
Darren Sproles, one of the best returners in the game, is deep, but he won't get a chance at this one as it sails through the end zone. So the New Orleans offense gets its first crack on the field when we come back. Sunday afternoon here in New Orleans, Louisiana. First down, Saints. From their own 20-yard line, Brees tripped up as he went back. And you've got to think he's probably stepped on as he took a step back. 5-time Pro Bowl quarterback. He's the leader of the Saints offense, almost 700 yards throwing already, 6 touchdowns, no interceptions, as New Orleans stands 1-1 after 2 games. Loss of 3 on the play at 2nd and 13. This is Pierre Thomas, and not much there for Thomas. After 13 seasons in Chicago, 6-time Pro Bowl center Olin Kreutz anchors the New Orleans offensive line. The backs and the receivers, Drew Brees, plenty of targets. Devery Henderson has consecutive 100-yard games receiving to start the season.
One thing about Olin Kreutz looking around and deciding where to go, sitting in the rocking chair between 2 Pro Bowl guards and Carl Nicks and Jari Evans was very appealing to the 6-time Pro Bowler. Nice little spot.
3rd and 11. Brees from the shotgun. All kinds of time and throws it wide open across the 30 to the 33 is Lance Moore for a first down.
Well, there was a much-needed conversion by the Saints to give their defense a little more time to get settled over on the sidelines and work with Greg Williams. But again, a perfect pocket for Drew Brees, and he had all sorts of time. And how close was that to an incompletion? Because it initially went right through Lance Moore's hands, and thankfully his thighs brought it back up.
On first down, Brees, short pop over the middle, that's incomplete. Intended for Jimmy Graham, the tight end. D'Amico Ryans broke it up. Houston's 3-4 defense. The veteran Antonio Smith off to a quick start with 2 sacks on the year. The linebackers, Mario Williams also with a pair of sacks. Brian Cushing, the Texans' leading tackler with 17 in 2 games. And Jonathan Joseph, Houston's free agent acquisition at cornerback, has the Texans' lone interception on the year. And of course, that whole bunch is captained by that man, defensive coordinator Wade Phillips, already making an impression in Houston. This is Pierre Thomas, and Thomas running room up the middle, across the 40 to about the 42. And we get our first NFL Today update of the day. JB and Coach Cowher.
Greg and Dan, off of a Ryan Fitzpatrick pick, Patriots.
I'll tell you what, Brady 5 for 5 in his first series. 4 of his catches to Welker, 14 yards here, and they are looking very sharp even without Hernandez.
Patriots have won 15 straight over Buffalo. Back to Greg Gumbel and Dan Deardorff.
All right, JB, Coach, thank you much.
Tom Brady, he's making it look entirely too easy. What a start he is off to with the pass. Unbelievable.
Brees with a 3rd and 1. And we get a whistle. And this is going to back New Orleans up 5 yards.
False start, offense, number 89. 5-yard penalty remains. 3rd down.
Tight end John Gilmore guilty of the false start. So instead of 3rd and 1, it's a 3rd and 6.
That's right. Keep an eye out for number 90. Where is he going to line up? Here he is at left end. Second guy in on the line of scrimmage. Working out of the 2-point. Standing up.
Play clock down to 1. Just barely got the snap off. Pass is incomplete. In and out of the hands of his intended receiver, Jimmy Graham.
Well, twice on that drive, Drew Brees tried to go to Jimmy Graham, and both times It was highly contested, that time by Daniel Manning. If you remember, the time before it was D'Amico Ryans. And I'll tell you something, Manning got there. He got there early. There's no question that he's got his hands around the waist. But, you know, tight ends don't get the call as often as wide receivers.
Jacoby Jones from just inside his 10, and he is creamed by the rookie out of Fordham, Issa Abdul Kudus, in on the special teams tackle. Then Tate, pickup of 2 across the 15 to the 16. That first drive was a dandy, Dan.
It sure was. Matt Schaub engineered a work of art, and it started with this really well-executed screen to Andre Johnson, and look how he finished it off. And then again, he just finds a giant hole in the Saints secondary, and then he turns it over to Owen Daniels. So he goes to the law firm of Johnson & Johnson, Daniels & Daniels, and that was really now a most impressive 73-yard drive.
Andre Johnson had 47 of those yards on 2 receptions. Schaub, incomplete. Owen Daniels was out there for that, couldn't get him the ball. It'll be 3rd and 8.
And we talked about first downs being critical for Houston, and they only got 2 yards on the first down play, and that's bringing up now this 3rd and 8, and they cannot make a habit out of 3rd, 7, 3rd and 8 and longer in this game. Greg Williams, sooner or later, will come up with the big play.
Shot wide open, man, on the far side is Casey. And Casey down the sideline, waits for a block. Inside the 30, inside the 25. First down, Houston. I am going to guess that somebody just lost track of Mr. Casey out of the backfield.
Well, one of the problems is how long New Orleans spent at the line of scrimmage after they'd already declared that blitz. And you're exactly right. Confusion in the Saints secondary. You saw all sorts of crossing patterns going on, and they just weren't prepared for Casey being the guy going up the sidelines. Keep in mind, Casey is a tight end slash fullback, and they're not the guy. He's not the guy you expect to make the big play.
62-yard pickup, first down. This is Tate. Squeezes through inside the 15 to about the 12, and very close to another first down.
And right now, this Saints defense is reeling. Talk about being back on their heels. And this is what the Texans like about Ben Tate. Look at that. That's just great awareness, but look at the hole. Owen Daniels with a good seal to the outside. Joel Dreesen with a nice seal back to the inside. And Ben Tate showing a little patience for a guy who's really playing his 3rd National Football League game.
Houston dialed up 5 first downs on their opening drive. They have 2 on this one. First down at the 11. Tate inside 10 to about the 7 or the 8.
Well, one thing when you talk to players on both these teams, they say how well they know one another. The Saints and the Texans the last couple of years have spent parts of training camp together. This year they played in the preseason. And, you know, Drew Brees told us, look, we can't get away from the fact when it was our number ones against their number ones, they pushed us around. They're a very physical team, and, you know, they're demonstrating that again here in the early stages of this game.
3 tight ends, Tate in the backfield. Schaub with time into the end zone and incomplete, intended for Daniels. Roman Harper covering.
Well, Roman Harper had the coverage on Owen Daniels when he scored the touchdown. He gets it again here and does a much better job. You can see he's got man coverage on Daniels all the way, and that little stutter step, while it bought him a moment of freedom, Harper was able to come back in, and he forced Matt Schaub to put a little too much air under that ball.
Third and 6. Schaub pulls it down, now throws inside the 5, complete to Andre Johnson, but he will be short of a first down by a couple of yards. and that'll bring the field goal unit onto the field.
Well, again, Matt Schaub had plenty of time, and Andre Johnson sat down, but where he sat, obviously a couple of yards short of the first down. Even though this ends in a field goal, you always want to get a touchdown when you're in the red zone. Again, they had a 3rd and 8 that they converted. The Texans have got to be feeling pretty good about that.
56 straight field goals. 45 or less. 57. Rackers makes it a 10-0 Houston lead. And that's one of them.
I would crawl to New Orleans for some charbroiled oysters or Dragos. I would. Even I'd crawl here beside you, Greg, and that's a long way.
I'll be right there with you. We had a great time there Friday evening, one of the great eating places. Darren Sproles will watch this one float out and doesn't get a chance to return this one. So once again, the touchback will have Brees starting from his own 20-yard line. The NFL celebrates Hispanic Heritage Month. Visit the official Spanish language home of the NFL at NFL.com/Espanol for game highlights, fantasy football, and a look at your team's Hispanic Heritage Month celebration.
Well, if I was going to fall behind early, this is the offense that I would like to have on the field to try to make up some ground.
Mark Ingram makes his first appearance at running back. Far side of the field, that is complete to Demery Henderson. Henderson complete, out of bounds. We get another update from JB and the coach.
A Michael Vick pick helped the Giants, coach.
Yeah, and Greg and Dan, what's the weakness of Philadelphia? Their linebackers. So get a running back matched up on him. Great job of play calling. Brandon Jacobs goes 40 yards on his play action. I'll tell you what, they're doing some improvising in New York.
Oh, Greg and Dan, I know you love that esoteric talk coming from coach. Back to Greg and Dan.
Yeah, you're right.
What did he say? Here's Ingram. And Ingram stood up at about the 27-yard line by Brian Cushing.
Well, Mark Ingram, of course, the #1 draft pick out of Alabama, a nice combination of power and speed, but he was a little high when he went to make that cut back to the inside. And I don't know if he didn't see Cushing or whatever, but he was in no position to have any forward progress when he was so high.
Cushing saw him.
and dropped it.
On 3rd down, Reed throws. In and out of the hands of Darren Sproles. And we have a flag on the play.
Personal foul, grabbing the face mask. Offense number 50. This penalty has been declined. The result of the play, 4th down.
The foul is on Olin Kreutz, the center of the Saints.
Well, let's take a look there. He's going to come in on the right side. Yep, you see he's got the hand. He's got Brian Cushing. Oh, he spins Cushing all the way around. Whoa, there are face masks, and then there are really good ones. When you spin a guy all the way around, you could really hurt him. Cushing is lucky that his neck survived that one without too much trouble.
Jacoby Jones has a 79-yard punt return this season already. Won't get a chance to return this one. That one sails out of bounds. And it'll be Houston on offense with a 10. The MetLife blimp providing today's aerial coverage. Look for the MetLife blimps as they team up with CBS for more coverage this season. Matt Schaub on the move and slides down at the 24-yard line. He'll lose about 4 yards on the play.
Well, there's a guy named Jolan Dunbar, and he's got the task today of trying to fill in for Jonathan Vilma, the defensive captain and the real heart and soul of this defensive unit. And, you know, Greg Williams very high on Dunbar, said he's got wonderful instincts. You can't coach that kind of stuff. He started for this team before. He's got 14 starts, most of them, though, at strong side linebacker. Just big shoes to fill in the middle of this Saints defense trying to replace Vilma.
This is Andre Johnson, and Andre Johnson across the 30 to about the 32.5-yard line.
But you can see right now the Texans trying very hard, and we've got an injured player. Wilson's down.
That's Martez Wilson, the 3rd-round draft pick out of Illinois.
But you can see they're trying to get Andre Johnson involved in a lot of different ways.
So they'll take a look at Martez Wilson, and we'll take a break and come right back and fill you in. Martez Wilson trotted off of the field. What's worse, Dan, when you get hit by the opposition or hit by your own guy?
Well, he's coming in there on your left, and Jolan Dunbar comes in, and Andre Johnson gets low, and the brunt of this collision is between Dunbar and Wilson gets the worst of it. He was over on the sideline trying to get the feeling back in his left arm.
3rd and 5 for Schaub. Crossing pattern, Andre Johnson right at the first down marker. Let's see where the ball is spotted once the official gets up on that side of the field.
You're getting a hint of what Andre Johnson means to this Texans offense. Again, I'm trying to say, let's put the ball down on the ground so we can get a look at it.
I think you got it.
If they got it, it's only because, again, of the physicality of Andre Johnson. I'm with you, Greg. It did look like where they placed the ball that it is good enough for the first down by about half a football.
Andre Johnson, the only receiver in NFL history with 60 or more receptions his first 8 seasons in the league.
Well, you know, last year he was bothered by an ankle that troubled him all year. He missed 3 games. He couldn't hardly practice during the week. Still, he came in with 86 catches. Keep in mind, the year before that, he had 101. The year before that, back in 08, he had 115.
He's averaging 94 a game this season. Already has 56 today, and this is Slayton. Dan, you were talking extensively up to the Saints about the style of play the Houstons use when they run the football, and Jonathan Vilma even told us you got to stay on your feet against this team.
They don't like the cut blocking. It's legal, but they don't like it.
It has been all Houston in the first quarter. The Texans lead it by a score of 10-0. We'll come back to the Superdome in New Orleans right after this. You're watching the NFL on CBS. The problem with being here, Dan, is that in this city, I got a 50-50 shot of it being a relative on camera.
Well, they're not the only 3 people in America watching this game in their robes, but I think they're the only 3 in this stadium.
Terrific first quarter for the Texans over the middle. That is complete to Andre Johnson. Johnson out to midfield, and we've got a flag.
Well, the Texans are acting like this is going to be against them. They're starting to move back.
Illegal use of the hands in the face. Offense, number 55. 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Chris Myers, the guilty party.
Wow, both centers for each team now called for a penalty. Kreutz with a face mask. There's Myers, number 55. Yeah, you can see his left hand. He's got it up underneath the helmet of Sean Rogers. And the umpire, now that he's stationed back behind the line of scrimmage, that's a penalty that he couldn't have seen from the other side. But being behind the offensive line, that was very visible.
So 2nd and 19 now, and this is Tate. And Tate inside the 30 to about the 28 or the 27-yard line. You saw on the graphic as we came back from our timeout how poorly the Saints have performed in the first quarter this season. Conversely, Houston has outscored its opponents 33-3 in the opening quarter.
Well, here we go again with another 3rd down situation, another 3rd and 14. And can the Saints possibly let the Texans out of the trap again?
Schaub and the Texans 3 out of 4 on first down so far today. Quick screen to the far side, and this is Casey, and Casey across the 40 to the 42, but that'll be short of a first down.
Good job that time by New Orleans, and Roman Harper in on it again, but getting to the football in a hurry. That's what they're built around, speed. And again, you can see the screens, the whole offensive line, Dwayne Brown out front, But there comes Harper flowing from the inside. A good, solid, open field tackle that time on Casey.
And Brett Hartman, the rookie, will kick it away. Darren Sproles is deep for New Orleans. Will return this one.
Sure will.
Splits two defenders, breaks to this side, has some running room, penalty marker flies, and Sproles is brought down at about the 48-yard line.
But there is a flag back at the 30. Man, Darren Sproles is fun to watch.
If you can read lips, it looked like block in the back.
During the return of the kick, illegal block in the back, receiving team number 85. 10-yard penalty, first down.
David Thomas guilty of the foul that will push the Saints back. 13. Those are either really good contact level lenses or that's the devil.
I hope they're contact. Some makeup jobs are better than others, and that's one of them.
Brees to throw on first down. Short pop over the middle and out across the 20 to the 21 is David Thomas as tight end.
Well, it has been a rocky first quarter. This is how it got started. Drew Brees stumbled, fell down. Then that one was a little bit behind his tight end. Ingram tries to cut up and gets hammered by Cushing. And again, frustration would be the operative word. Well, again, everything about Houston is, hey, we started last year 2-0 as well. We have a lot of work to do, and this game has just gotten started.
This is Ingram. And Ingram with a big hole up the middle. 35 out to the 38-yard line. That's a first down for New Orleans, and we get another update from New York. JB and Coach.
Hey, Greg, on the ground there, in the air for Eli Manning.
And I'll tell you what about that vaunted Philadelphia defense? They've given up 6 touchdowns in the last 5 quarters, 74 yards here to Victor Cruz. The New York Giants, they thought were going to run 2 touchdown passes already by Eli Manning.
By the way, for Michael Vick, 4 of 8, 43 yards and a pick. Back to Greg and Dan.
All right, guys, thank you.
Bill Cowher, nice tackling there by Philadelphia. Now, what was that?
Drew Brees with time, wide open at midfield. The catch is made by Robert Meacham. And Drew Brees getting a little rhythm now.
Yeah, you can feel it a little bit now that the Saints starting to get a little mojo going for themselves on offense. Nice little play fake to Ingram. Again, the guys up front, tremendous pocket. How about that for a hands catch? Look at that. That is as good as it gets by Robert Meacham. That really was a very special catch. But great blocking by the line up front.
Push down New Orleans at midfield. Ingram lost a couple. Maybe one or two. We'll see where they spot it.
There's
J.J. Watt.
Yep. Is he a likable guy or what, Greg? This rookie, the #1 draft pick of the Texans, I'm telling you something, he had a great career at Wisconsin, a high motor guy, but smart, articulate, and I'm telling you, this guy will never stop.
Dan, even if he isn't likable, he's too big to say he's not likable.
Well, I like him.
I like him too. 2nd and 11. Brees will shovel pass ahead to Pierre Thomas. And Thomas inside the 40 to the 37-yard line where J.J. Watt brought him down, but not before he makes it another first down for the Saints.
All right, I'm Drew Brees and you're not. Because this is just a heads-up play. Look at Drew Brees. He does a fake. There were 2 separate fakes before he finally just shovels it out front to Pierre Thomas. But again, look how he set him up. He set him up by running, let him get a little space. To Thomas's credit, he knew there was a good chance that little flip was coming.
This is Pierre Thomas. Hello, Sean Cody.
Well, Sean Cody is the nose tackle in this 3-4 defense of Wade Phillips. That, you know, and his nose tackles aren't, you know, necessarily the Vince Wilfork type, really giant nose. You know, right in that 300-pound range. And you know, Wade tells us he's really about the same size as Jay Radcliffe as his his nose in Dallas, and in that 300-pound range. So Ratliff, Cody, these guys are all about the same, and it's they don't play that just stuff technique. They're always moving.
Sproles in the lineup on 2nd and 9. This is Sproles right side running room. Hit at the 30-yard line. Jason Allen coming up from the secondary.
Well, anybody who saw the Texans play last year realized that you were looking at a historically bad pass defense. And I know this is early in the season, but you just talked to the players, and Gary Kubiak and the addition of Wade Phillips, what a change they've undergone mentally on that side of the football in terms of their beliefs.
Which is often tougher than turning it around physically, isn't it?
You're right.
3rd and 3. This is Sproles again. Right side. 1st down and more. 15, 10, 5, touchdown. A quick 30 yards to the end zone.
Well, every coach that's ever had Darren Sproles tries to come up with different ways to get him out in the open field with the football. This time, it's just a quick pitch, but look at the blocking out front. Great block to get things going by Zach Strief, and then it's just all Darren Sproles. And Sean Payton told us, I got to find ways to get him in straight handoffs to get him the football as a more conventional running back. That was a good look at it.
John Casey for the extra point is perfect. So 8:23 to play in the first half. The Saints finally find the scoreboard. Houston 10, New Orleans 7. A slightly better mood amongst the Saints faithful in the stands as Darren Sproles weaved his way 30 yards for a touchdown, and as you see, that's the first half touchdown the Texans have allowed this young season. Daniel Manning is deep, and he won't get to return this one as that goes out of the end zone. So it'll be Matt Schaub in the offense from their own 20-yard line when we continue in a moment. Hey, remember, manage all of your CBS Sports fantasy football teams on your mobile device. Download the free app today at cbssports.com/mobile. Houston from its own 20-yard line. Schaub over the middle and wide open across the 40 to midfield. Andre Johnson on the run and out of bounds.
Well, once again, on nothing but a simple in pattern by Andre Johnson, it seems to completely befuddle the Saints. You see Jabari Greer, he's got a trail position all the way. And again, Malcolm Jenkins, the safety, is not in a position to make anything in terms of a play on Johnson until he's about 35 yards downfield.
48-yard pickup.
You've got to have safety help on that crossing pattern like that.
Johnson, 5 catches for 104 yards. Schaub with time. Over the middle, wide open inside the 15. Owen Daniel inside the 10. It'll be 1st and goal.
Well, you would be thinking that this defense, after their offense came through with them, would have been lit up a little bit in terms of, high energy. But again, the play action, little quarterback movement in the pocket by Schaub, and again, this is just awfully wide open against this zone defense of Greg Williams and the Saints.
Steve Slayton in the backfield. 1st and goal.
And again, looks like they're a little confused up front now, trying to get everybody alive.
Schaub. And Jacoby Jones doesn't get much, if anything at all.
Well, Jabari Greer that time was mighty happy that was Jones instead of Andre Johnson. I think up to this point they've had their fill of Andre Johnson and his A getting open and his B his physical toughness after he has the ball in his arm.
Dan, I know you put a lot of stock in how a team comes out and answers after it's been scored on.
Absolutely. This is most impressive by Houston.
2nd and goal from the 9. Short drop for Schaub and throws that one into the turf.
Boy, Dunbar had a chance at intercepting that thing. Did the ball get tipped at the line of scrimmage? Where, again, you can see Owen Daniels. He gets challenged, and that didn't look to me there was any more than 5 yards downfield, so that was legal. Oh, it does. Oh, it gets Will Smith gets a hand on the football. That's why it ended up so low.
3rd and goal. And he'll take a timeout.
Refreshing beer.
Welcome back to the Superdome. Andre Johnson having a super first half. He's 3 yards shy of equaling what the Saints have equaled on offense. Quick pass behind the intended receiver, Andre Johnson.
Well, that was really successful on the part of the Saints. It didn't look to me that even if Johnson would have caught that, they had him bracketed in there, that he wouldn't have made it into the end zone. So this is forcing them to at least settle for a field goal. And that just was not a good throw by Matt Schaub, but you see there was a whole group of Saints surrounding him. This is the best you could hope for to force them a field goal opportunity.
Racker's good from 22 earlier. This one from 27 yards out. And it is straight and true. 6:20 to play here in the first half. And Houston now has scored on 12 of 15 first half drives this season. The new season is underway, and CBS has the #1 drama, the #1 new drama, the #1 new show, and the #1 show. Thank you for making CBS #1. Some guys putting up some decent numbers today.
Well, look at Matt Schaub already, 223 yards. That's pretty impressive considering we're still 6 minutes from a halftime. A lot of glossy stuff going on for the Texans. Devery Henderson being held to only 7 yards. That is after that 79-yard touchdown play where he torched the Bears and their cover 2, getting behind the safety. That sends chills up and down the backs of safeties all around the NFL when a player can do that.
We asked Sean Payton his philosophy about Darren Sproles running it out of the end zone. He says all depends on the amount of time the ball is in the air. If it gets to him in a hurry, he'll run it out. And he will run this one out from 5 yards deep. That is as quick a 28-yard return as you will see.
Personally, I'd let Darren Sproles run it out from 9 yards deep every time. Every opportunity this guy has to be on the field of play and the clock is running, I'd let him do it because he's that rare talent. He's that explosive. I don't think a coach would ever say anything to Darren Sproles about you shouldn't have brought that out.
So from the 28-yard line, the Saints will operate with 6:15 to play here in the first half, and they're down 13-7. Brees over the middle, intercepted. Picked off at the 35-yard line by Jonathan Joseph, his second of the season. And that's the first pick of Drew Brees this year.
That is the first one. And I talked about this pass defense being historically bad last year for the Texans. They brought in Daniel Manning and they brought in Jonathan Joseph. And this is a nice play fake by Brees and then a pump fake. But I guess he just doesn't see Joseph underneath, because he was there all the way. He's coming all the way across the formation with Henderson, and he actually looks like the intended receiver. And Drew has to be furious with himself. That's a mistake you wouldn't expect him to make.
Then Tate in the backfield. Tate with the handoff. Trying to reverse field and doesn't get any further than the 32.
Drew Brees, there's so much to like about him in terms of just his leadership skills. I mean, he would chew your leg off to get a win. I mean, you know, that's a whole football tournament. That's just acknowledging a great competitor when you see one. And right now, you know he's just eating himself from the inside out.
2nd and 8. This is Tate getting outside. 1st down and then some. Inside the 15-yard line.
This Houston Texan team is putting on a blocking display. That time, Andre Johnson is getting a great block downfield. It's good for another 5 or 6 yards. Again, Dwayne Brown gets it. Wade Smith, look at Wade Smith get the seal to the inside. You can't see him, but to the right, all the way down here is Andre Johnson. And he has just eradicated one of the Saints DBs.
And back at the line of scrimmage, you see Saints defenders picking themselves off the ground. First down from the 14. Tate. No gain on that play.
But Greg, you made the point about them being on the ground, and when we talked to Greg Williams, he said we've got to stay on our feet. You got to run with these guys. You know, Gary Kubiak, this is the same old running formula that they used in Denver with Mike Shanahan, that zone blocking. The offensive lineman run you, and then the back gets to make the cut. And as a defender, you've just got to fight to not get cut, stay on your feet. But that's been a challenge so far for New Orleans.
4th red zone trip of the day for the Texans. They have a touchdown and 2 field goals in their first 3. This is Tate. And Tate inside the 10. And we get a timeout called by New Orleans. So New Orleans uses its first timeout of this first half. And we'll remind you tonight, the season premiere of 60 Minutes. Inside the best counter-terror team in the world, New York City's elite police force, plus the creators of South Park. 60 Minutes tonight, only CBS.
Well, when you've got some running backs that have 1,000-yard seasons under their belt, like that guy, Arian Foster, the NFL's leading rusher last year. Derek Ward is inactive today. He's got a 1,000-yard career on his resume. And they're having to go with Ben Tate, and you'd say, well, woe is us. Well, that is far from the case with the Texans.
They had Steve Slayton, who had 1,200 yards rushing in 08. Boy, you talk about riches in the backfield. And it helps, Dan, because then Gary Kubiak can just simply rest Arian Foster.
That is a real luxury for Houston.
3rd and 4. Schaub running out of time. Incomplete. Intended for Owen Daniels. So on 4th down, it'll be, once again, Neil Rackers.
Well, this could come back to haunt the Texans at a later date. They're having to settle for field goals in the red zone. How many times do we talk about it? Field goals instead of touchdowns can come back to bite you, you know where.
Another 27-yarder. And it is good. So once again, at least the Texans visit the red zone and come away with points. 3:53 to play in the first half. It's 16-7 in favor of the Texans.
Well, right now, the way the Texans have been moving the ball, the Saints are lucky to be this close. Andre Johnson just left unattended by the Saints secondary. Then Owen Daniels gets a touchdown. This was pretty. The toss to Darren Sproles. A 30-yard touchdown. Beautiful cutback towards the middle. And then Drew Brees gets undercut by Jonathan Joseph. He comes up with the pick. But right now, there's 2 storylines. And one of them, the Texans getting all sorts of yards. They have almost 300 yards in total offense here in the first half. But settling for field goals is an issue. They've been in really good scoring position. They could easily be up by a whole lot more than the 9 they are.
And there is an inherent danger in letting a team like the New Orleans Saints stick around.
Well, we're not talking about defending a lead against the Colts with Kerry Collins at quarterback. This is a Saints offense that could score quickly.
Sproles is deep again. return this one. On the run from the 3. And gets buried at about the 21-yard line. Here comes Drew Brees, and there's the line on Drew today.
And as Greg mentioned, that was the first interception of this season for Drew, who's just been playing flawless football. And, that shootout that they had with Green Bay in the opener, and then the spirits down here about their defense were buoyed pretty high with the performance and the throttling they put on the Bears offense last week. But that's come crashing down.
Brees, this side of the field, that's complete. And out of bounds just across the 30 to Robert Meacham.
Well, that time Meacham working against Kareem Jackson, the #1 pick of the Texans last year. And he is, he's a work in progress. He's getting better and better. He started all last year. But again, remember the Texans had no offseason. Nobody did, but there's a new system in place with Wade Phillips' defense, and these guys are there's a little learning on the fly going on.
First down from the 29-yard line. Brees, straight drop this time. And overthrew Meacham going across the field.
Boy, Drew has to pick himself back up. He took a heavy hit, but he had a wide open player. And again, he gets a good look at it. It's not because he sees Antonio Smith coming right at him, but he just flat overthrows Meacham. There was a good clearing pattern run downfield by Henderson. There's Mario Williams. He's being accounted for and handled. It was Antonio Smith that really put the thud on Drew Brees.
2nd and 10. Brees pulls it down, throws it this way, and that one is complete to Devery Henderson. His second catch of the day is a dandy, and he is all the way to the 25-yard line of the Houston Texans.
Well, a good job of working the pocket by Drew Brees. Look at this, pump fake, and then he comes back. I mean, talk about a guy who sees the whole field. And it didn't take him too long after looking to the right to flick his eyes back to the left and find out that Henderson was left all by himself by the Texans defense. That was a complete whiff.
This is Ingram, the rookie, for about 3 to the 22.
I'm telling you right now, if the Saints can finish this drive and get this ball into the end zone, at 16-14, they are going to be higher than a kite, and they would have every reason to be in a game where they could be getting blown out. They were going to have a chance to get it within 2 points.
It feels like they're down 21 or 28.
It does.
Not the case.
But they are not.
16-7. 2 minutes to play in the first half. It's coming up on the Sprint halftime report.
Find the Texans. Where's Sproles?
On 2nd and 8. Brees going down back at the 31-yard line, courtesy of J.J. Watt, the rookie out of Wisconsin.
Well, the Texans are getting production really quickly. Look at that nice little inside move on Streif. And again, good power. And you could see how he kept Streif from getting into his body by using his arms to keep separation. And then great leg drive took him right to Drew Brees.
He told us yesterday he needed to work on his hand moves.
Clock operator, please reset the game clock to 140. Thank you.
And his hands look just fine on that play.
They look just fine is right, because, Streif, the tackle, wants to get back in and get close proximity where he can control you with his arms. And that was a great look at J.J. Watt, keeping him at a distance and fighting upfield at the same time.
Tell us yesterday, back in Wisconsin, he was the world's biggest pizza delivery guy.
That's what he did for 6 months.
3rd and 17. Brees for Sproles. Look out. Sproles inside the 20 to about the 17-yard line, and that's about 2 yards short of a first down.
Well, no secret that the Saints want to get a playmaker involved. He's already got 1 touchdown, and he is Mr. Open Field. But again, look at the blocking. Yeah, that's almost unfair.
And the Saints are going to go for it here on 4th down.
That move he puts on Nolan right there.
And now Drew Brees is going to wait until the play clock winds down and burn a timeout.
I was going to say, this is going to be an aggressive call by Sean Payton to not take the field goal and get within a touchdown.
So that is the second Saints timeout used here in the first half. They have 1 remaining. Houston has 2. And Dan, that Darren Sproles, such an electric player. Drew Brees was not insignificant in the acquisition of Darren Sproles.
No, obviously they've known each other all the way back to San Diego, and he was texting Drew Brees. They were working out together. And Darren Sproles has paid big dividends here for the Saints. This was week 1 against the Packers, that punt return. And here he is against the Chicago Bears last week. And then you saw this earlier in the second quarter, taking the pitch from the conventional tailback spot and running it in for a touchdown. So I would say that Reggie Bush not necessarily being missed a whole lot. And this, by the way, is a smart play by the Saints.
Well, they are going to go for the field goal.
Yeah.
Casey is on the mark from 35 yards out.
You're within a touchdown of taking the lead, touchdown and an extra point, and I just don't think you can. I don't think you can afford to come out of there with nothing. As much confidence as you have in Drew and your offense.
So it's a 16-10 game, and once again, the Sprint halftime report upcoming with James Brown, Dan Marino, Shannon Sharp, Boomer Esiason, and Coach Bill Cowher back in New York with all the latest scores and highlights coming up on the Sprint halftime report.
Well, I think Gary Kubiak, first of all, he'll let him have it about settling for field goals, but you know, by and large, he's got to really be pleased with the way his team has played to this point.
Yeah, as we discussed this game coming up, Dan, you said, you know, the Texans might well lose this game, but it would be really important that they play well.
Absolutely, because anytime you have not experienced a lot of success, there's always a level of uncertainty as to how good you are. And if they'd have come in here and gotten blown out by the Saints, that'd have been really counterproductive. They've got, this half at least, they've got a lot to feel good about.
Daniel Manning, he's deep. And Manning will let this one bounce through the end zone for the touchback. Texans have never started a season 3-0.
And last season, they started 2-0. And Gary Kubiak told us the first words this team heard from me after we won our game last week was, "We've been here before." So let's not feel too good about being 2-0. We were 2-0 last year, and we finished 6-10.
They lost 4 of their last 5, 8 of their last 10 last season.
I will say this: they were an injured football team.
35 seconds to play in the first half. This is Tate. And Tate across the 25 to about the 27-yard line.
Boy, I like being a young running back like Ben Tate, having both hands on the football in a situation like this. That's ball security is everything in the waning seconds of the first half. Because a fumble is an automatic 3 points for New Orleans.
And Tate will finish this first half with 66 yards rushing, and that's how this first half will wind down. Houston settling for field goals on a couple of red zone trips, but they go to the locker room leading it by a score of 16-10. We're back with the Sprint halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. The Houston Texans have a 6-point lead on the Saints by a score of 16-10. Greg Gumbel along with Dan Deerdorf. We were not in the Houston locker room, but you just kind of have a feeling what Gary Kubiak was talking about.
Well, what he was talking about is when we get in the red zone, we have to finish. We have to score touchdowns. We can't just settle for the 3 Rackers field goals that they've done on 3 separate trips into the red zone. And I think it's pretty safe to say what the Saints defense was hearing in their locker room from Greg Williams, and it probably not meant for public consumption.
However, they are within striking distance at 16-10. Let's have a look now at the NFL mobile recap presented by Verizon.
Well, it's all about teamwork, and Streif gets a great block to the outside, Meacham a beautiful block to the inside, and then it's just talent by Sproles out in the open field. But again, if ever there was a good look at blocking makes a successful play, it was by Meacham and by Streif on that touchdown by Darren Sproles.
So the Saints, as we said, within striking distance, and they'll get their hands on the ball first here in the second half, and there is Darren Sproles.
And again, normal kickoff rules, if I was the coach, wouldn't apply.
107 all-purpose yards for him already today. And he'll run this one out from 5 yards deep. Oh, what a burst. What a burst out across the 25 to the 27-yard line.
Well, some people are just quicker than others. And Darren Sproles is one of those guys. And you know what? In a game really occupied by really big, giant people, when you see Darren Sproles just walking along like Greg and I did on our way into the Superdome about 2.5 hours before kickoff, you can't help but be taken back at his physical stature. He is a small guy.
Not out on the field, though. Movement up front. Sean Cody making contact.
Encroachment, defense, number 95. 5-yard penalty remains first down.
So it'll be 1st and 5 as we look at some first half numbers, and 301 total yards in the first half.
Is quite a half of production. And again, though, but when you look at the scoreboard, you'd think that 301 yards would equate into more than 16 points.
Brees over the middle, got his man across the 45.
It's still
Lance Moore.
And Lance Moore was correct to pop back up because he had not been touched when he was down on the ground by Kareem Jackson. And you just get the feeling here that this is now a pretty focused Saints football team. And Moore didn't feel the touch, and there wasn't one. But again, a perfectly thrown ball. I wasn't sure that Moore had to go to the ground to make that catch.
First down, Sproles in the backfield. Brees, that's complete. Across midfield, and Moore again, who backtracked into New Orleans territory to the 48.
In college, you can give up ground a lot of times and end up making a big play. It doesn't work very often in the National Football League, and that time Lance Moore made a poor decision to retrace some steps. He left about 3 or 4 yards out on the field. You don't get forward progress when you give it up voluntarily.
Now Ingram is the man into the backfield for the Saints. Out of the pattern, makes the catch, and is dragged down at the 45 by D'Amico Ryan.
Well, Greg talked last half about D'Amico Ryan's effect. He didn't name Ryan, but he talked about the losing streak by the Texans. And when D'Amico Ryans went down with a torn Achilles, the club went 2-8 in his absence.
We have an injured Saint on the field. We'll take a break.
Prohibited.
Charles Brown come in?
Yeah.
Well, Zach Streif being helped off the field by the Saints training staff, and he is the right tackle, and here he is right here. Watch as he drops back. He's going to throw his right leg back behind him right there. And you can see how it gets caught awkwardly underneath. He immediately goes clutching his right knee, and that is a large loss for the Saints.
Charles Brown in the lineup to replace him, and there's a bullet complete to Robert Meacham inside the 40-yard line of the Houston Texans, and that's good for a Saints first down.
And again, a very good look at this Saints offense. Drew Brees, all sorts of time in the pocket. No one from the Texans anywhere close to him. And you know that is almost always going to result in a completion. May not always be downfield, but you give Brees that kind of time, and it's like most NFL quarterbacks, he's going to complete a pass.
Tell you who's been quiet today. We were looking forward to seeing him in action. Jimmy Graham, no catches today. He had 6 last week against the Bears.
Well, some of the other marquee guys, Mario Williams hasn't, we've spotlighted him a few times, and again, it's been a relatively quiet afternoon. That doesn't mean he's not playing well. He just hasn't had a chance to make a lot of plays. And this Graham, a basketball player at Miami, he's a very passionate player. When you hear a coach say he has a passion to be good, boy, you love to hear that about anybody.
On 2nd and 8. Brees over the middle and wide open for the catch is Jimmy Graham. And Graham inside the 10, inside the 5. It'll be 1st and goal.
And I was just talking about that passion, and on cue, look at that. I mean, it's the first thing you hear from Sean Payton is that this guy has passion, but he has a passion to be the best. He's excitable, and watch him finish that. First a leap and then fall.
Straight ahead is Pierre Thomas.
Well, that was really a good illustration of what kind of an upside there is for Jimmy Graham.
6'6", 260 in his 2nd year out of Miami.
And keep in mind, he only played 1 year of football at Miami. The guy's a basketball player. He played over 100 games for the Miami basketball team. He's a hoopster first and football player second. Well, that's changed.
2nd and goal. Brees on the move. Throwing to the end zone. Touchdown. Meacham. What a job by Drew Brees.
Now, how many times have you seen it? Drew Brees looks like he's going to run. He brings it back. Drew Brees is not Michael Vick. He doesn't want to run the ball upfield. But his movement, his body control is so good. He's as a threat to run, and he will run. He doesn't want to. He moves to find a throwing lane. His receivers know it, and they continually work to stay alive. And that's exactly what Meacham does here. You know Drew Brees, if you keep working, will reward you with a throw.
The kick is good. Chalk up another game for Drew Brees with at least 1 touchdown pass. And Gary Kubiak's worst nightmare at halftime is realized. The Saints come out and grab the lead. It's 17-16, New Orleans. Greg Gumbel, Dan Deerdorf back at the Louisiana Superdome after dominating much of this game. The Houston Texans now on the short end of the scoreboard, and see if they can bounce back. Daniel Manning is deep for the kick. Manning from the 1. Turns the corner. And out of bounds across the 25. Or maybe right at the 25-yard line. Hey, we want to thank the MetLife Blimp for providing aerial coverage of all the rooftop below. Look for the MetLife Blimps, Snoopy 1 and 2 when they pass through a town near you.
Well, there are not many environments in the National Football League where it is more fun to watch a game than here in the Superdome. This is one passionate fan base that loves their Saints.
They're a lot happier now than they were in the first half. Schaub up the seam and just overthrew Casey.
Well, it was a very focused New Orleans offense as they started this third quarter, and you can see Drew Brees now with that touchdown pass has tied Dan Marino.
Marino just kicked someone back in the studio.
For the most consecutive games with a touchdown pass. And just think about Johnny Unitas. It was a lot harder to throw the football in 1956, 57, 58 than it is today. That is an astonishing record by Johnny U.
Schaub. And again wide open in the middle of the field is Casey.
Well, they come right back to Casey, going right down the seam again, back to back. Schaub overthrew him the first time, not this time, and a pretty nice attempt at a spin, but Jolon Dunbar was having none of it. A nice tackle.
So it's a first down now. The Texans out to their own 42. And this is Tate. They go back to the ground game. Penalty marker down on the far side of the field.
Yeah, I think the Saints were offsides. I think they were in the neutral zone at the snap of the ball. I think Cameron Jordan might have leaned in.
Offside. Defense number 94 was in the neutral zone at the snap.
He is the rookie first-round pick out of California.
First down.
Now you get excited. You want to get after the quarterback. You want to get on the other side of the line of scrimmage. And it wasn't much, but he just moved enough to get his helmet into the neutral zone.
6'4", 287. He's still growing.
Oh, yeah. Sean says he is a powerful guy. He plays him up and down all the positions on the line.
So first and 5, and Tate again. To midfield.
Well, given a choice, these Texans will run the football. It's one of the ways they want to protect their defense. It sets up the great play action. And you know why they can run the football? We just had a shot of one of the big reasons. Andre Johnson. His presence on the field dictates that there's always a safety over the top that can't come up and run support. Great wide receivers like Andre Johnson are worth 30, 40, 50 yards in the running game by their mere presence.
Second and 3, Slayton, right side. Going to be just shy of a first down by about a yard, maybe half a yard.
You know, Greg, I used to talk to coaches and they'd talk about the Randy Moss effect. That same thing, when you've got a wide receiver that you just can't trust the single coverage, you've got to have a safety over the top. That really is a huge plus to the running game.
Here's a big 3rd and 1. Schaub going to throw for it. On the slant, Andre Johnson inside the 40 to the 36 and a first down.
Love the play call. Love the play call on 3rd and short. It's really a safe pattern. Just a quick slant to Andre Johnson. Let him use that big body. You know, he shields off the defender. And again, you know, it's everyone's playing run. Great call by Gary Kubiak.
116 yards receiving on 6 catches for Andre Johnson today. And on first down, Schaub, straight back, good protection, throws behind Tate out of the backfield. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Well, Schaub looked like Matt was trying to put so much touch on that he just completely lost control of it. It almost looked like a pitcher. You know, sometimes he's trying to make that little throw just over the first baseman, and he just totally misfires on it. That's what that looked like. Instead of just throwing it, he looked like it was a toss.
On 2nd and 10, the pitch to Casey around the right side, inside the 30 to the 25.
Well, and there's one of the ways that the Texans are compensating for Arian Foster and Derek Ward being inactive today. They're getting James Casey involved in the running game even a little bit. He lines up as a tailback right behind the quarterback. He goes ahead and takes a simple pitch and then tries to do his best Darren Sproles impression.
What a nice block on the outside from Eric Winston.
This is a great run blocking offense.
First down now at the 25. This is Tate inside the 20 to the 17.
I am really impressed with Ben Tate for a young running back. The way he covers up the football and the way he keeps it tight to his body. And now this is not good news as he walks off looking like there's something a little bit wrong with his left leg. He came off with a little hitch in his giddy-up.
And Houston thin at the running back position with both Arian Foster and Derek Ward sidelined.
There's an understatement.
104 rushing yards on the day for the Texans. Slayton knocked down at the 19. Scott Shanley with the stop.
Well, Steve Slayton, a guy went over 1,000 yards his first year in the league, but he's been kind of a non-factor in the Texans running game. And there's the reason they find themselves trailing by a point. Those 3 field goals inside the red zone. You see it over and over and over.
3rd and 4. Casey in motion out of the backfield. Schaub. Short drop. Throwing. End zone. It is incomplete at the goal line. Andre Johnson wants a penalty marker, but he isn't getting one.
Yeah, Andre Johnson not really normally a very demonstrative player. Again, he does a little slant and go. Yeah, he was grabbed. There's no question about it. As he made the turn, it looked like Patrick Robinson was one of the guys. Roman Harper was back there as well. But he was grabbed as he made that up move after the slant.
So here is Rackers from 36 yards out. Houston looking to regain the lead. And they do. Rackers 4 out of 4 in field goals. And it's a 19-17 Texans lead. As the Texans have regained the lead, 19-17. And once again, Darren Sproles lurking in the end zone. You were saying, Dan, he's going to kick it to anywhere but to him.
Well, that's one way. That hit the crossbar.
That'll get it done. From the 20-yard line, Drew Brees in the offense after this.
Behind every business
Is included when you switch.
Nothing like a ride through the French Quarter on a Sunday afternoon. Welcome back, everybody. 5:08 to play, 3rd quarter.
Well, this has been a very good football game. And it's, again, though, the Saints really woke up offensively. But here's the story of the game so far. To the 3, to the 9, the 9, and the 17. Those were how far the Texans got into New Orleans territory in the red zone. And they have a cumulative 12 points to show for those 4 trips. They scored a touchdown on their opening drive. But if the Texans end up losing this game, that is the story right there. Now, that they came back after New Orleans took the lead and took the lead themselves showed a lot of sand. That was a very nice drive by the Texans. A field goal drive, but nonetheless, they reclaimed the lead.
So Brees and company will start from their own 20-yard line. And Mark Ingram in the backfield, deep. Brees, deep drop, pulls it down, and will slide down at about the 23, and there's a penalty marker, and that one's easy.
There is no foul. We're hitting the quarterback, as the quarterback is only afforded protection when he slides deep forward.
Well, we just heard Tony Correnti say there is no foul, and it's because Drew Brees
There
did
is no
not.
foul for an unnecessary roughness, as the quarterback, as he is a runner, was running forward, diving forward. Therefore, he's a protected player. There is no foul. 2nd down.
That's a good point. He was diving forward.
That's right. Well, it was kind of like in between, but Drew Brees did not do the classic slide where his legs are out in front of him. And you hear Tony Correnti do a great job on the microphone of explaining that that's the only way the quarterback has provided protection. You got to do the full baseball slide with your legs and feet out front, giving yourself up.
Screening. And that screen from Mark Ingram goes nowhere. Let's go back and look at it again.
I think Kareem Jackson was the player for the Texans who's coming up right here. And you're right, he's already on his way to make the tackle, make the hit. And Drew Brees does not do the quarterback slide to where he gets protection. And it's really nice to hear a referee like Tony Correnti get on the microphone and explain it to everyone.
Sproles in the lineup on 3rd and 6. Brees with lots of time, crossing pattern, and that's complete across the 30-yard line to Lance Moore and a first down.
That's got to be one of the things that's upsetting Wade Phillips right now is that Drew Brees has entirely too much time sitting back in the New Orleans pocket. They are not mounting much of a pass rush. And when you can just sit in the pocket like that, picking up crossing patterns, that time by Moore, pretty easy thing to do.
That's 10 straight completions now by Drew Brees. And Brees got rid of it. Tossed it ahead of him to Sproles. Sproles didn't get much. We go to New York once again, JB and Coach Cowher.
Greg, a rare miscue by Tom Brady sets this up, Bill.
And it's a Scott Chandler touchdown pass from Fitzpatrick right now, his 4th on the year. And they're not kicking field goals up in Buffalo. They are scoring touchdowns, Dan and Greg.
17 unanswered for the Bills. Greg Gumbel, Dan Deerdorf.
Oh, you see now, Dan, we've got to watch what we say because Coach Cowher is paying attention.
He always does. Mario Williams still down on the ground, and Texas Nation is taking a deep breath. Mario Williams being looked at by the Texans staff. Watch his right leg as he throws it out right here, and it contacts Antonio Smith and gets bent back. And I'm telling you right now, Mario Williams is over there, and if he comes out of this without something wrong in that knee, he's going to be really fortunate.
Meanwhile, 2nd and 8, Brees over the middle. And hit hard after making the catch is Jimmy Graham, and it's ruled incomplete. Boy, what a hit, Troy Nolan.
What a hit is right. As we look at the one pattern being run away that clears it to the inside, allowing Brees to come back to Brees. And again, that was a good hit. Appeared to be hit with the shoulder, not the helmet. And Jimmy Graham couldn't hold on to the ball.
And it leaves the Saints with a 3rd and 8. Brees throwing. Catch is made. First down yardage. Devery Henderson.
A great job by Henderson of running the pattern to the proper depth. And that it doesn't sound like something that should be that complicated, but how many times you see a guy run that curl pattern like that and end up a yard short of the first down? He spotted it perfectly. That's a pretty good sign that Williams is on that bike.
It sure is.
Trying to loosen up.
Brees up the seam, intercepted. Picked off by Daniel Manning. And Manning out of bounds inside the 45-yard line. The 2nd time today, 2nd time this season.
Well, that's a
Brees has been intercepted.
But that's a miscommunication because Drew Brees is throwing to a spot. He's throwing for a certain pattern, and his receiver doesn't run it. You take a look at this right here. You can see that I'm not sure was that Graham? I'm not 100% sure if that was Graham. But he keeps running down the field, and it's pretty darn apparent that Drew Brees was expecting him to break off his pattern and sit down. There's got to be a trust between the quarterback and receiver, and Drew Brees and his receiver will not on the same page.
So let's see what Matt Schaub and the Texans can make of this. Play fake. Complete to the 30-yard line. Andre Johnson is just eating the secondary alive today.
Well, this isn't his first lunch of a secondary.
He's eaten here before.
He has been down this buffet line before.
7 catches for 128 yards.
What a luxury for a quarterback to have a go-to guy like that.
Tate gets a block, cuts it inside to about the 23 or the 22-yard line.
And there's some good news for Houston because Ben Tate, remember the last time he was out on the field, he went off looking like he had a little bit of a problem with his right leg, and that's a good sign that after getting his right ankle taped back up, that he's back out on the field.
He's up to 84 yards on 15 carries today.
111 rushing yards total for the Texans.
Chicago managed just 60 yards on the ground a week ago against the Saints. Tate. And this one gets held up in a hurry. Will Smith.
Well, Will Smith knifed through that offensive line. Man, that was not good by the boys up front from Houston. Will Smith was in the back, and Tate didn't have a prayer.
And we'll see if the Texans get another playoff before time expires here in the third quarter.
Well, they're in New Orleans territory. They've got the lead. I wouldn't be in any hurry to run a play.
Well, when they do run it, it'll be an important 3rd and 6 for Matt Schaub and the Texans. But meanwhile, we come to the end of 3 at the Superdome in New Orleans with the score 19-17. Texans will come back to New Orleans after this message. And a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL along with our producer, Mark Wolf, our director, Bob Fishman, Greg Gumbel, Dan Deerdorf, and our CBS Sports crew as we start the fourth quarter. Houston at the 26-yard line of the New Orleans Saints. A very big 3rd and 6. Schaub going to go for it all down the sideline. Oh, what a catch made by Casey for the touchdown.
Wow. Greg Williams fights every instinct he has to come with an all-out blitz. Only has a 3-man rush. Drops 8 men in coverage. And still Matt Schaub gets beyond the shell of the defense. And you can see right there, it's just Casillas trying to run with James Casey, and James Casey, not Andre Johnson, is a guy that has come up with some huge, I mean, Johnson's had his share, but James Casey, are you kidding me? He is breaking New Orleans back. Remember James Casey went up the sideline in the first half. It's like New Orleans is being completely surprised by number 86.
You kind of think the Saints are thinking, where did James Casey get off on having a day like this? High snap. The kick was good. Nice pass by Schaub. Great catch by Casey. 26-17.
You're watching the NFL on CBS.
James Casey, and he's the one sitting back there wearing number 86. 4 catches, 112 yards, and a big touchdown moments ago.
Well, the Texans didn't have to go very far to find him in the 09 draft. He played at Rice. That's about as close as it gets.
Sproles not going to run it from 9 yards deep in the end zone. So the ball will come out to the 20-yard line, and that's where New Orleans offense will click in and will tell you tonight on CBS. Former NFL Colts player Marcus Pollard competes on The Amazing Race. Plus, Survivor winners Ethan and Jenna. Don't miss the season premiere of The Amazing Race tonight after 60 minutes only. CBS.
Well, it has been very impressive watching this Texans offense respond every time New Orleans does something good offensively. They have been spot on with their timing.
Brees and company from their own 20. Here, Thomas across the 25 to about the 27-yard line.
Well, on that touchdown, I mentioned where they only came with a 3-man rush, and you'd expect maybe for there to be a lot of zone back behind that, but really it's man coverage here on both of the receivers to this side. And Casillas really has pretty darn good coverage on Casey, but what a job of adjusting back to the football by James Casey, and just coming back to the inside far enough to make that catch. That was nice.
2nd and 3, Thomas again, and Thomas has a first down across the 30 to the 31-yard line. Now, we wanted to see at the outset of this game, Dan, the mindset of the Houston Texans. They said it had to be different this year.
Well, yes, because they just realized that they fell apart last year. They had a few things go wrong. Wade Phillips was brought in, but, they've got a lot of people back that they didn't have last year.
Mario Williams back on the field,
and that is,
for the Texans.
That is great news.
Brees. Incomplete at the 35-yard line. Intended for David Thomas, and D'Amico Ryans was there.
And what did he do when David Thomas got there? Listen. That is the problem, running a crossing pattern into a zone coverage. There is someone at the other end waiting for you to get there. They don't have to do a thing but lay you out when you arrive.
It's kind of like going into a train tunnel and you hear a whistle at the other end.
You see that white light come.
2nd and 10. Brees. Antonio Smith with his 3rd sack of the season.
You can't be getting off to a better start to a season than Antonio Smith is doing for the Houston Texans. I mean, on this defense, it's D'Amico Ryans, it's Mario Williams, it's a lot of high-profile people. But I'm telling you, he is the guy that just works, grinds, and gets it done. And that's just nothing more. That was no scheme. That's winning your one-on-one matchup, and that's what Antonio Smith has been doing since day one of the season.
3rd and 17. Second time today, Brees has been sacked. Sproles. And he is corralled at about the 27-yard line, well short of a first down, and the Saints will have to kick it away. Connor Barwin with the stop.
And again, right now, what you're thinking to yourself, if you're a New Orleans fan, is can our defense get the ball back for our offense without, at the very least, giving up a field goal? The Saints have been giving up massive amounts of yardage.
Jacoby Jones looks like he'll get a chance to return this one. Gets a couple of blocks, penalty marker flies. This will come back wherever it winds up.
Well, the penalty marker didn't come on the first block. It didn't come on the block that was backed by Jones. That was nice and legal. It was as he moved closer to the Saints sideline.
During the return of the kick, illegal block in the back. Receiving team number 58. 10-yard penalty, first out.
Brooks Reed guilty. 12:21 to play. 4th quarter. Houston in the lead.
A pro.
Back at the Louisiana Superdome. Houston 26, New Orleans 17. Ben Tate in the backfield, 20 yards shy of a 3rd consecutive 100-yard rushing game. Schaub with time. And Tate dropped it. It'll be 2nd and 10. And a reminder, coming up, the Subway post-game show. JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and the coach have all the latest NFL scores and highlights coming up on the Subway post-game show. They'll have some stuff to talk about from this one.
Oh, yes, they will. Boy, Ben Tate's drop right there really wasted a tremendous job of pass protection by the Texans up front.
This is Tate. To the 15.
Good tackle that time by Jolon Dunbar, the middle linebacker, who's filling in for, again, Jonathan Vilma, who missed this game, inactive because of a knee injury. Tracy Porter, their cornerback, who's got injury issues at times. He didn't suit up today. That calf problem of his lingers on.
Big defensive down here for the Saints. 3rd and 9. Here they come after Schaub. He got rid of it and overthrew his intended receiver, Andre Johnson.
Well, he had no choice. He was under duress. I think Williams came with 7 guys that time, more than the Texans could block. And Matt Schaub's going to get pressure right up the middle. There comes Dunbar. And Schaub, that was a chuck and duck. And it's a good thing that pressure forced that bad throw because Andre Johnson was there. And do not kick it right down the middle of the field to Sproles.
Only the second Houston punt of the day. Well, he didn't.
No, he didn't, but that's what Sproles will do. Yeah, he was trying to kick to the sideline, and it forced a bad punt.
New Orleans will start at the Houston 49. Jolon Dunbar. From the 49-yard line, New Orleans with the ball. Down 9. On the blitz. Pass this side, complete and out of bounds to Darren Sproles.
And again, the versatility of Darren Sproles, who lines up as a wide receiver that time. Not many guys get out there and are as comfortable in space as Sproles, split all the way to the left. That's kind of a la a back like Marshall Faulk, who was comfortable on the stage.
4 catches for 30 yards today. Ball popped up in the air and falls incomplete.
Did Tim Jamison get a hand on that? I think he did. Part of this rotation on the Texans defensive line. Yep. That's number 96, Tim Jamison. And again, this team does a good job of, if they're not getting close, they stay active, stay alive, and get their hands on it.
Mario Williams on the looker from the sideline on 2nd and 10. Brees throwing this side. That is complete. Inside the 30-yard line goes Sproles.
Well, you know that these couple of little short passes to Sproles in the wide receiver position, Sean Payton is setting something up. I don't think that's the end game, although they're getting some nice chunks of yardage out of it. But he does something for a purpose.
Meanwhile, the Saints going without right tackle Zach Strief, who left the game with an injury. We have not heard from the Saints sideline anything further. Mark Ingram in the backfield on 3rd and 1. And he has a first down to about the 26.
Well, this is some good power running. And again, a pretty decent surge, but that's good leg drive, good pad level. Run behind those pads. Mark Ingram is going to be an awfully good running back in this league.
Wade Phillips, defensive coordinator of the Texans. Brees down the sideline, has a man, touchdown! Jimmy Graham.
Well, Drew Brees identified man coverage where there was no safety help, and he went to that side. This is nobody but Glover Quinn and Jimmy Graham, and the safety he almost tripped and fell. Looked like he almost went to the ground and then was having to play catch up the whole way with Jimmy Graham. And Graham at 6'6", I'm sorry, once Quinn let him get by him, that was that.
27-yard touchdown. Casey for the extra point. It's perfect. 9.5 minutes to play in regulation. Jimmy Graham on the receiving end of a Drew Brees touchdown. 26-24, Texans.
Chicken, always baked, never fried.
No one's going to outdo New Orleans in the rhythm department. There's Jimmy Graham. 2 catches for 59 yards and a touchdown today, all of them coming here in the second half. Daniel Manning will run this one out of the end zone, 4 yards deep. Right up the middle and out across the 30 to about the 33-yard line. And this game getting a little chippy as we get into latter stages. Hey, flying high above the MetLife blimp providing today's aerial coverage. The blimp travels over 60,000 miles a year to cover sporting events and television specials throughout the United States. And we thank you. So let's see what kind of an answer Matt Schaub and the Texans have. From their own 34. Play fake. Schaub over the middle. Almost intercepted. Knocked down by Jabari Greer. Pass intended for Jacoby Jones. That's really the first one today that you'd say Matt Schaub kind of put up for grabs. Dan.
Well, it was a good play action by Schaub, but you can see the Jones was open, but by the time Schaub was able to deliver the football and allowed Greer to work from being behind to getting in front. That pattern was there. The ball was late getting there.
Here comes the noise. Schaub under pressure, couldn't set up the screen. It'll be 3rd and 10 when we come back. Let's go to JV and coach in New York.
All right, take a look at the Vikes. Only 36 total yards. Detroit capitalizing.
Oh, 17 straight. Calvin Johnson in the back of the end zone. Remember last week, Minnesota blew a 17-0 lead and had a 20-0 lead today. Could it happen again?
36 total yards in the second half. Wow, Greg and Dan.
All right, guys, thank you.
Here comes the crowd.
Shot intercepted midfield by Greer. He missed the one 2 plays ago. He got this one.
Well, you can have so much faith in a receiver that you go to him even if he's covered. But when you as much as you like to get the ball to Andre Johnson, you can't do it when the defender is as far underneath him as Jabari Greer was on that one. And that was a really easy interception.
So now the Saints from the Houston 47. Reed, far sideline, got his man out of bounds right at the first down marker, Robert Meacham.
And Drew Brees has a cannon for an arm, and this out pattern to Meacham was a tight spiral right on the hands with a lot of smoke behind it. And Matt Schaub has played a really smart game to this point, but that was a 3-play series for the Texans. All 3 plays were seriously flawed.
On first down, quick slant. That's complete to Lance Moore and Moore to the 27.
Well, you can just feel the confidence now with this Saints offense. And Drew Brees is getting them right back up to the line of scrimmage. They're going without the huddle. Keep the tempo, the pressure on.
spread the field on second and short yardage. Quick pass, got Moore again to the 20. And a first down.
Well, Kareem Jackson and Lance Moore having a conversation. The result is that the sticks are moving and it's a New Orleans first down. So I'm not sure what was said to whom, but the only thing that matters, it's first and 10 for New Orleans.
New Orleans has picked it up since the first quarter. Brees close to the 15-yard line. Moore again.
And as Drew Brees, if the Texans are going to drop deep, he'll just operate in that 7 to 10-yard range underneath, and that's what he's doing. Although remember the last drive, he threw a couple short ones to Sproles, and then he hit Graham on an up pattern. So
Brees incomplete at the 10, intended for Sproles. And you kind of get the feeling the Texans needed that one, Dan. They were looking a little dazzled on the field.
yeah, they were. They needed just something good to happen, and an incompletion. Drew said, let's go back and get in the huddle here, and I'll call the play. What a luxury for Sean Payton that he found a guy like Drew Brees when he came to New Orleans.
Big 3rd and 6 here for the Texans defense. Brees stepping up, end zone, touchdown! The Lance Moore show continues.
Well, they went to work on Kareem Jackson. They pretty much took it to him most of that drive. And now New Orleans is going to go for 2. That'll put, if they can score this, then they go up by 6. I guess the feeling going up by 5. 2 field goals could beat you.
I don't do math, Dan. I'm going to take your word for it. Been a while since the Saints converted a 2-point attempt. Here, Thomas in the backfield. Brees rolling, throwing, got it to Lance Moore. You got to think sooner or later the secret's going to get out on Lance Moore on the other side of the field.
That was the Lance Moore drive. That was a model of efficiency by the New Orleans Saints. And again, Kareem Jackson had no idea where the football was, no clue. He's just got his back turned to Drew Brees, and Drew Brees goes, well, this is going to be pretty easy. Lance Moore makes the adjustment. Brees threw it away from the defender. And then on the 2-point conversion, again, look how accurate that throw is from Drew Brees. I mean, that was just a perfect throw.
Saints have put 15 points on the board in the last 2 minutes and 20 seconds.
Well, now the pressure really falls on Matt Schaub in the offense, because after that last drive, that 3 and out, that really set that whole thing up for New Orleans. The 3 plays that resulted in an interception.
Daniel Manning deep for the Texans.
This is where a team like Houston has to learn how to win.
And he won't get to return this one. And they will start from the 20-yard line. Next Sunday, doubleheader action here on CBS. First, Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers against Matt Schaub and these Texans. Dan, you and I will be in Houston for that one. And then Kyle Orton and the Broncos battle Aaron Rodgers and the Super Bowl Packers. Check your local listings. It all begins with the NFL Today, presented by Southwest Airlines.
When you've not won before consistently, these are the humps that you have to get over. Learning how to win on the road in a pressure situation.
Tate nowhere to go. 2nd and 10.
Well, no surprise that Houston is going to attempt to run the ball. It is who they are. And you'd like to think you're able to do it when you want to do it. And Greg Williams has got to know that. He's going to counter.
Coming up on 6.5 to play in the 4th quarter. Time of possession just about even now. Schaub on the crossing pattern. That is complete to Owen Daniels, and he has a first down across the 30 to the 32.
Well, that's a good job by Owen Daniels of getting another 4 or 5 yards after contact. If he'd have gone down initially, that would not have been a first down, but he kept fighting, showed some power as he dug it out for a first down. Look at that right there. Look where he is, and then he ends up getting a good solid 5, maybe 6 more yards after contact. A lot of yards today.
Short drop for Schaub. Tate out of bounds at the 40.
And that's a good play call. You don't need giant chunks of yardage. A touchdown and an extra point gives you the lead. You got plenty of time to do so. You can be more than happy to gobble it up at 5 and 6 yards at a time.
Tate on 2nd and 2. Oh, just as he crossed the 40-yard line. Hit hard. Dunbar Casillas in on the stop. He picked up 1. It'll be 3rd and 1.
Arian Foster reduced to a spectator's role because of that bad hamstring.
And Houston going to have to take a timeout. A little trouble getting the play into Matt Schaub. That's the first timeout used by the Texans here in the 2nd half. Just a reminder, the Subway post-game show coming your way once we wind things down here. JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, Coach Cowher have all the latest scores and highlights coming up on the Subway post-game show. While we have a moment, let's check in with JB and Coach in New York.
Tom Brady, 4 picks in this game, Coach.
You know, he only had 4 all of last year. Drayton Florence is going to pick this off, return it for a touchdown. Listen, there's a lot of football left to be played. There might be something special happening up in Buffalo.
Yep, you said it, Coach. Give him a watch, and a good watch it is. Back to Greg and Dan.
Thank you, guys. I think one thing's for sure, Buffalo is no longer the doormat.
No. Remember earlier on a 3rd and 1, Houston ran a slant pattern to Andre Johnson.
Steve Slayton in the backfield. Play fake. Out here to Casey. Casey has a first down and more into New Orleans territory and out of bounds at the 45-yard line.
And I think Houston again showing they're not afraid to put the ball into Matt Schaub's hands on a 3rd and 1. Again, play action, the rollout, wide open is Casey. I love the play calling. Not being conventional, just trying to stuff it in there on a 3rd and 1.
Hey, if I were James Casey, I'd ask for a raise on the way home. 5 catches for 126 yards.
Wait till somebody tells him what you said. You're his new favorite person.
On first down, play fake. Schaub running out of time. Throws it out. Complete to Daniels. And Daniels out of bounds inside the 35 to about the 31 or 30-yard line. And that's another first down. And a good job by Matt Schaub.
Well, nice ball handling. Nice fakes in the backfield. It kind of froze the Saints in terms of their pass rush. And then really Daniels is just nothing more than an outlet. Dunbar trying to get in there on him, and that was a nice stiff arm by Owen Daniels. Very nice You can hit a guy in the face mask if you're the offensive player. You can't grab it, but you can hit it with your stiff arm.
From the 30-yard line. Schaub under pressure, down the sideline, got it away, incomplete.
Oh, there's that same matchup we saw before, Casey and Casillas. Casey caught the touchdown pass when Casillas had pretty decent coverage, and this time Casillas was outstanding, just reaching up and batting the ball back. Right now, Schaub's going, hey, I recognize this matchup, but this time Casillas saw the football, reacted to it, and knocked it away. That's very nice work, Jonathan Casillas.
2nd and 10. Just under 4.5 to play. Schaub, this side of the field. Caught and out of bounds at the 20-yard line by Kevin Walter.
Well, Kevin Walter has not had a real busy day.
It's his first catch.
Yes. I was trying to make an understatement, but if you're going to get your first catch of the game in, that's a heck of a time to make it. What a catch by Kevin Walter, who's been bothered a little bit by a bad shoulder. That was clutch.
First down, Houston at the New Orleans 20. They trail 32-26, 4:21 to play. Tate in the backfield. Schaub under pressure, throws it, almost intercepted. Here's a penalty marker down. Kevin Walter has the football.
Well, the official at the goal line is signaling a Houston touchdown.
And there are penalty markers down. Let's check the flag. Here's Tony Correnti.
Holding defense number 21. This penalty has been declined. The result of the play, touchdown.
The city of Houston, Texas just went crazy.
Well, this game is far from over, but there's a little bit of luck involved here because Matt Schaub threw a football there that could have easily been intercepted.
Oh.
Jonathan Casillas had both hands on that football, and somehow, watch this, here comes Casillas, number 52. In his effort to try to grab it, he kept it off the ground, and it ends up going right to Walter.
Extra point is good.
And that boy, Matt Schaub gets credit for throwing a touchdown pass, but that was by the hair of his chinny chin chin.
That's unbelievable. This ball gets batted there, and there, and there.
And somehow Kevin Walter is the beneficiary and alert enough to pick it up and run into the end zone. When from here in the broadcast booth, when Matt Schaub released that football, I'm thinking to myself, that's going to be intercepted. I thought that was an interception. And it ends up being a Houston touchdown.
No one wins that fight for the ball, but it's batted in the air by Casillas.
Well, give Joel Dreesen, and I'm late in doing so, give Joel Dreesen a lot of credit there because he broke up the interception. He was the intended target, and he ends up knocking the ball away from Jonathan Casillas. So Joel Dreesen gets an assist on that touchdown.
The lead changes hands for the 4th time today.
Geez, 4 minutes and 13 seconds. Drew Brees couldn't possibly do anything with that.
Here's Darren Sproles. Penalty marker flies as Sproles is decked at the 25. This looks like it'll be a block in the back against the Saints and back them up. That's Joel Dreesen.
During the return of the kick, illegal block in the back, receiving team number 43. This penalty assessed half the distance to the goal. It's first down.
Well, it has been an entertaining second half. We've had all sorts of scoring. Meacham gets that touchdown pass from Drew Brees. Then here comes James Casey getting into the act. Then it's Graham from Drew Brees, and Houston comes right back throwing the pit that time. Drew Brees capitalizes to Lance Moore, and then this most bizarre play where Kevin Walter ends up getting the carom and going in for the touchdown.
Other than that, nothing's happened.
Other than that, it's been relatively quiet.
29 points in this quarter alone. And we're not done. 4:08 to play. Brees got it, lands more and more out across the 20 for a first down.
Well, again, we've got this matchup of Kareem Jackson, number 25 on Lance Moore, and Drew Brees is just parlaying that into one completion after another.
John Casey, by the way, the Saints kicker, has 41 field goals of 50 or more yards in his career. Brees over the middle, complete to Graham. Graham to the 35, and another first down.
Man, that was a nice throw by Drew Brees. Rolling out to his right and then flicking it back to his left to Jimmy Graham. That was all wrist, and that had some velocity to it.
Clock continues to move, 3:20 to play. Brees pulls it down again, looking, throws this side of the field, incomplete. That one hit the turf in front of Sproles. That'll stop the clock with 3 minutes, 10 seconds on the clock. There's John Casey, who has a career long of 56 yards.
He is 41 years old. John Casey has been around for a long time. Of course, he's filling in for Garrett Hartley, who's still nursing that hip flexor. Isn't going to be back probably for at least a couple of weeks.
His 41 field goals of 50 or more yards, second most in NFL history. Brees, complete, Sproles, out of bounds, across the 45 to the 46-yard line, and a first down.
Well,
3:05 to play.
That time Brian Cushing is trying to have man coverage on Darren Sproles. I'm not sure there's a linebacker in football that can that's equal to that task.
If you're a linebacker and you can cover Darren Sproles man on man, you're in the wrong position.
Yeah, you should be back playing safety or corner. That is a matchup the Saints are going to win every time.
Brees up the seam, incomplete. Fans want a flag. Intended for Meacham. Jonathan Joseph was covering.
And that should have been called. Joseph grabs his helmet. How do the officials miss that? How do they miss? He had his hand on Meacham's helmet, pulling his head away from the football.
2nd and 10. Brees going to go deep, far side of the field, incomplete. Meacham was there, but so was Joseph.
Yeah, it looked like almost a little confusion between Meacham and Brees as to what pattern he was running. Looks like Drew was trying to go back shoulder, and Meacham wasn't able to adjust on it. But that, the crowd had every reason to be a little upset with that non-call on Jonathan Joseph.
3rd and 10.
The Texans could use a little pressure. Drew Brees has been setting up shop back there, relatively unmolested.
Up the seam, got his man inside the 30. It is Jimmy Graham for a first down and a penalty marker.
Well, they may get a personal foul at the end of this helmet-to-helmet. I think Daniel Manning comes in with a helmet-to-helmet while Jimmy Graham is still in that defenseless receiver position.
Pass is complete. Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness. Defense number 38. Helmet contact. This penalty is for tackling to the goal. First down.
Right here, coming from the right, you can see Daniel Manning comes in with his head and his helmet right into the grill, right into the face mask of Jimmy Graham. And Jimmy Graham did not have an opportunity to become a runner. And that, every player in the league has been lectured about that.
Graham 4 catches for a career high, 101 yards today. Ingram in the backfield. from the 13-yard line. Ingram to the 10, to the 5, touchdown! His first career touchdown in the National Football League, and it's a fairly big one.
I think he's going to take that ball with him. Well, outstanding blocking. Of course, that's what happens when you have as much success throwing the ball as New Orleans has been having on their last couple of drives. When they go to the run, it catches the Texans flat-footed. And here they're going to go for 2 again to go up by a touchdown and an extra point.
Brees rolling out, same play to same man. Brees to Lance Moore. They didn't have a 2-point conversion since 07. They do it twice today.
Well, that's just too easy. That is just too easy. Well, you know, when there was a little over 4 minutes on the clock, that Drew Brees had all the time in the world. Here it is again, Drew Brees looking all the way. I mean, he's not even considering anybody else other than Lance Moore. Again, this is basically just a one-receiver play. Drew Brees looking at him all the way. Lance Moore glances back behind, looking at Jonathan Joseph and going, hey, I figured you might contest this a little more than that after last time.
Hey, Dan, worth revisiting. Houston, 5 red zone trips today, 1 touchdown.
And you're right.
Meanwhile, New Orleans with 4 red zone trips and 3 touchdowns in those 4 trips.
Well, this hasn't been a defensive display so far. The Texans have 474 yards. The Saints have 452.
Daniel Manning in the end zone. And he won't run this one out. He'll take a knee, and Matt Schaub and the Texans will start from the 20-yard line.
When you got a game with over 900 yards in offense, that'll make defensive coordinators lose their sleep. But hey, to no one's surprise, these are 2 really good offensive football teams. So the Saints defense, they've been taking more than, well, no, I won't say more than their fair share. They've been taking a lot of heat. Can they put up a stop now?
New Orleans has outscored Houston 23-14 here in the 4th quarter. Schaub, far side of the field, complete and out of bounds. Kevin Walter.
And you're right, Greg. You mentioned that the Texans, all those trips way down into New Orleans territory. What, they were at the didn't they have 3 inside the 10-yard line?
Yeah.
Now that is spreading it around. That's letting everybody have their turn at the trough.
On 2nd and 5, over the middle, incomplete. Joel Dreesen wants a penalty marker, none forthcoming. It'll be 3rd and 5. Clock stops with 2:34 to play.
I mean, that just looked like incidental contact between Dreesen and Dunbar. And Dunbar now in this situation, again, a reminder, he's having to step in for Jonathan Vilma, having to coordinate, get everybody in the right place, get all the communication and the calls made, which with this noise has to be done with hand signals.
Schaub deep down the middle, incomplete, and penalty marker flies.
Yeah, there's going to be holding, I think.
There was some hand fighting there between Dreesen and the man covering it. Now the Saints are saying it goes the other way, and the Texans don't appear to be arguing it.
Well, there was a lot of contact. Let's see who's going to get called. I think it was Jolon Dunbar was the defender.
Sean Payton is all the way out on the field. is a fairly important call.
Well, it's obviously against Houston because he's wanting to know what Sean Payton wants to do.
And he's going to take a timeout and talk about it.
We don't even know what the... Sean Payton knows what the call is. We don't.
Right. And Sean Payton, I think, is trying to decide how to play this.
Well,
Pass interference, offense number 85. It's a 10-yard penalty. Repeat, we're down.
So the penalty is on Dreesen.
all right, there's Dreesen on the right side of your screen against Dunbar. Well, right there, that push-off. That's what was called, that last little push-off to get a little separation.
Third and 15. The ball is at the 15-yard line. Schaub needs the 30 for a first down. There's 2:28 remaining.
And that, Sean Payton took the yardage knowing that Houston would probably go for it on fourth down.
Look at it. Matt Schaub under pressure and goes down inside 10-yard line.
Is Matt Schaub all right? Matt Schaub looks like there's something wrong with his upper body. Something. Is it his neck?
Lee Torrance coming in at the blind side.
And I don't know. Does he get something happen here at the very end?
Oh, there's a leg right there, but is that enough to cause it?
He's grabbing his head.
Back in New Orleans, Greg Gumbel, Dan Deardorff, 4th and 21 for the Houston Texans.
And with only 2 timeouts, they can't punt it away. They wouldn't get it back with hardly any time left.
Schaub from his own end zone, going deep on the middle of the field. It is tipped and incomplete. The ball will go over on downs to the New Orleans Saints, who trailed throughout the first half and then came roaring back here in the second half.
Well, in the New Orleans defense that has given up tons of yards and has really taken a lot of heat here in New Orleans. When they had to, here in the late stages of the fourth quarter, they really played well. They came up with several big plays.
Matt Schaub, 373 yards, 3 touchdowns and an interception. Drew Brees, 370 yards, 3 touchdowns and 2 picks. Each team with 2 timeouts remaining. Ingram for a couple. It has been an offensive day, to say the least.
You could say that, considering that Houston has, 473 yards of offense. New Orleans has 453. But if there's a storyline to this game, it is the fact that time after time, the Houston Texans got into the red zone of the New Orleans Saints, couldn't get it into the end zone, and had to settle for a Neil Racker's field goal on multiple occasions.
3 different receivers over 100 yards receiving today.
No, Greg, it's the old NFL adage, defeat thy name is field goal. You could see it coming. We started talking about it as early as late in the first quarter.
Ingram slips. Houston will use its third and final timeout to stop the clock with 1:44 to play.
Now, the one thing about the Houston Texans, you know, they're playing a really good football team. And this is a team that a couple years ago won a Super Bowl. And they've been winning for quite a while. The Texans are trying to learn how to win, how to close the deal, how to win on the road against good football teams. I think it's important to note that they played pretty darn well here today. And even though they may come out of this with a loss, you know, this is the NFL. The only thing that counts is wins and losses. But when you're trying to learn how to win and how to get better, there's some positive things here for the Texans.
On third down, Ingram once again into the center of the line to about the 5. And that'll bring Casey and the field goal unit onto the field, I would think.
Well, yeah, they're not going to give the ball back to the Texans with a chance to tie the game.
And then let some time wind off the clock for a bit.
They'll go all the way down to 1 second.
Matt Schaub, Jacoby Jones. It's not the way Matt Schaub wanted to celebrate the birth of his twin daughters earlier this week.
No, but keeping an eye on the big picture. He and his wife on Tuesday welcomed a pair of twins. That's always a big occasion.
Of course, we greeted him with the traditional, "Are you getting any sleep?" But they didn't go home until yesterday. So
right. His sleepless nights begin next week.
So these Saints will travel to Jacksonville next week, while Houston goes home to face the Pittsburgh Steelers. Dan and I will be there for that one.
Yeah, they're home for a couple of games. Pittsburgh, then Oakland comes in. And then another tough road game for the Texans as they have to go to Baltimore to play the Raiders.
Casey from 23 yards out for a little icing. The Saints 43, Houston 33 with 54 seconds to play.
There is that schedule that we were referring to. Pretty tough deal next weekend with the Steelers, but at least it'll be at home at Reliance Stadium. Baltimore, a tough place to win. Then they got Tennessee and Jacksonville.
We got a penalty marker on that
Holding
play.
defense on a pull and shoot. This penalty says half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
Well,
so they're going to take that field goal off the board.
Sure, because all Drew Brees has to do now is take a knee and run out the clock. It's a, you know, you're not allowed to pull a guy out of the way. That's defensive holding, and just like it would be on a receiver, it carries an automatic first down. So a couple kneel downs here from Drew Brees will end it. So instead of 43, the Saints are stuck on 40.
Well, Dan, you and I talked about it a couple of times this weekend. A lot was going to figure into how we feel about these Houston Texans, how they played here today, win or lose.
Yeah, and that's, you know, we were alluding to that, and again, a lot of positives. A little discouraging, you know, to give up what they gave up in the second half. But if they target one thing, Greg, I don't want to beat the proverbial dead horse, but the field goals instead of touchdowns always come back to get you.
One more kneel down will do it. And both these teams will finish this day with a 2-1 record.
The one thing we know for sure coming out of here, these are two offensive football teams. They're going to put a lot of points on just about anybody they play this year.
Gary Kubiak, Sean Payton meet midfield. Back and forth game ended up on the Saints side of the ledger. The final 10 seconds wind down on a Saints 40-33 win over the Houston Texans. Lots of yardage, lots of scoring. Our final score, the Saints 40, the Texans 33. For Dan Deerdorf, for our entire crew here in New Orleans, Greg Gumbel, so long from the Superdome. Let's take you back to New York and our studios for the Subway postgame show and join James Brown.